Yo, what is up guys, it's Gaming back with another video, and we are back with the expeditions, and today's video is going to be the Crocabulia fight. Now, this one might be the trickiest one so far because of the mechanics and the enemies hit quite a bit. Again, I am going to do 8 loot with my team. I think 8 loot might be easier than 4 loot for this one in particular. The other ones, I would say 8 loot are definitely harder than 4 loot, but it is what it is. Let's go over the general mechanics and then go over the monsters in the dungeon. So the general mechanics of the dungeon are basically Crocabulia is invulnerable. At the start of each of her turns, she summons a shell up to 10 range. The shell has 55k HP, 8 MP, but you don't have to kill it. At the beginning of the Crocabulia's turn, she will one-shot a shell, every shell that is in line and diagonal with the boss. So, I repeat, the boss will one-shot every single shell on the map that is in line or diagonal with the boss. If it explodes and you are in a 3-cell circle around the shell, you will get one shot. So don't stay close to the shells, right? And I think enemies are, if enemies are in the circle, they are fully healed. So keep that in mind as well. If you're close to finishing off an enemy, don't have them like near the shells. But in order to remove the invulnerability of the boss, 3 shells have to explode in a line or diagonal with it. And it doesn't have to be in the same turn, so you can do a 1 every single turn, or you can just keep the shells on the map and then do on turn 2, you explode 2 of them and then 1 on turn 3, whatever you want. It is, you could play a game of luck, have them explode randomly and you should be fine. Or you can just, like with your last character or your second to last character that is playing in initiative order, right before the boss, get the shell linearly or diagonally, and then on turn 3, the earliest is going to be when you can kill the boss. Now, as you can see in the background, there are some enemies that can swap with the shell. The Dragostus and I think the dragon with the wings, those can both swap. So you might have placed the shell near the boss, and you think, okay, I'm gonna film it, but no, the enemy's gonna swap them and you're screwed, basically. And also, keep in mind, if the enemy swaps the shell next to you, then you might get one shot. So keep an eye on the enemies that can swap, kill them first, prioritize those, and then you should be fine. Now, let's go over the mobs, starting off with the boss. The boss has, when you're doing 4 loot, 13,000 HP, and 8 loot is going to be 15k. So there's not big of a difference. The HP isn't too bad. But overall resistances are quite high. Just like the soft oak dungeon. Air resistance is the lowest, but it's still 29%. So you might want to go with some big damage. I think the dragon with the wings. That one is the most trickiest one. Because that one can swap. And can deal damage from great range. You might want to kill that one first ASAP. The Dragostus low earth res. I think that one can also swap. I don't know if it's in 4 loot fight though, but it might only be in 6 to 8 loot. I don't know. That's the only downside of doing these guides when I'm doing 8 loot. I don't know which monsters are going to be in the 4 loot fights. So you just have to go in the fight and see what's going on for yourself. Let's go to the Dragmatic. Inflicts fire damage. Increases its own power. Hits high in melee. Hits in AoE. 2 range fire damage. And hits in earth damage. Attracts enemies from 2 range, I think. No, 8 range without line of sight. So this guy hits mainly in melee. Which one do you have left? The Dragnarok. Applies shield. What else do we have? We have earth damage. In Yeah, only in melee. Earth damage in melee. And the other spell is also earth damage, steals MP for 5 range. So most of the enemies hit in medium range to close combat. As you can see, by the way, in the background, the boss is vulnerable, but my panda got one shot. It doesn't matter, to be honest, because ideally you want to, especially when you're doing 4 loot, you want to avoid getting one shot. So stay away from the shells. But I was like, nah, I'm just going to tank the boss, make sure that the shell is linearly to the boss, and then it's vulnerable on the next turn, and then I can kill it. That was basically my whole idea. But generally, you want to stay away from the shells. With using the heliotrope, as you can see, it is very easy to kill off the boss using portals and such. But if you're playing 4 loot, you might need to take a turn or 2. So keep in mind that you stay away from the shells. As you can see here, the way my Enotroph is placed, it would get one shot if the fight would have lasted another turn, but it's all fine. Again, keep in mind you have to use a key to enter this dungeon. Generally, I would say go range composition. That is a lot easier than close combat for this fight in particular. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next expeditions video, which is going to be like in a day or 2 when Ankama releases the next dungeon. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.